Hey, welcome to the deep dive.
Good to be here.
So you've brought us this stack of sources today. Looks like excerpts from a recent travel magazine.
That's right. A really interesting collection.
Okay, so our job now, our mission, is to basically tear into these pages, right? Find the best nuggets, the surprising bits, the insights, and, pull them out for you listening.
Exactly.
Think of it like a shortcut, getting you really well informed on a whole world of travel stuff just from this one source.
And it's a great source for that because, it gives us a snapshot of how people are traveling now. It's not just about, the hottest destinations, but how travelers are connecting with places.
Yeah.
We're seeing everything from, adventure seeking to incredible food, digging into history, local culture. The real goal, I think, is to understand not just what's in here, but why these places and experiences matter right now, in the bigger picture of travel and discovery.
All right, let's jump in then. Right off the bat, the editor's letter, big shout out to Vietnam. It feels like for years, maybe Vietnam was kind of in Thailand's shadow a bit, tourism-wise.
Yeah, perhaps perceived that way by some, but this source makes it pretty clear that's changing dramatically.
Okay, how so?
Well, you see a few things coming together. First, the 50th anniversary of reunification is coming up in 2025. That's a big cultural moment.
Oh, okay.
And then there's just the rapid development, new infrastructure, more high-end places opening up.
Yeah, they even mentioned the Michelin guide arriving.
Exactly, which is a signal.
Definitely a signal. And it's not just the big cities either, is it? The source talks about community tourism projects, like in Mai Chau,
Right.
up in the mountains.
Right, and that focus on local connection, plus the food scene in Hue, specifically the vegetarian food, which apparently has these deep imperial roots.
Wow. And exploring by boat seems to be a theme, too, for Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. It really feels like Vietnam is, I don't know, stepping into its own spotlight now.
Absolutely. It's a perfect example of how, development plus these historical moments can just open up a destination.
Yeah.
Makes it appealing way beyond the usual backpacker trail. People want that mix of past and present.
It's definitely stepping out of that shadow.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of different ways to experience places, the source pulls out some pretty unexpected adventures, unique stuff.
It does.
Like the Alps in summer. It's not just hiking, is it? This goes way beyond.
Oh, yeah. That on the radar section is gold. Take South Tyrol in Italy.
Okay.
They've got this initiative called Nos Ladins. Latin is this, really rare European language, spoken in the Dolomites.
Huh. Never heard of it.
Right. And through this program, you can actually book experiences with the Latin community. Cooking classes, hikes with locals, meeting cheesemakers.
Whoa, that's proper immersion.
Totally. It's deep cultural connection.
That sounds incredible. And then there was something about dark skies.
Yeah. Valberg in France. New planetarium, and they have the Astro Valberg Festival for stargazing in the Mercantour National Park.
Cool. And for cyclists, something about car-free roads.
Right, the Tournée de Concours. On certain mornings, they close famous Tour de France or Giro d'Italia mountain passes to cars, just for cyclists.
Okay, that's pretty niche and awesome.
These examples just show how travel is getting, more specialized.
Yeah.
It's moving past generic sightseeing. People want specific interests, culture, astronomy, cycling.
Cheaper engagement.
Exactly. Much richer.
There was even a culinary hike in Austria.
Yeah, Bregenzerwald.
Yeah.
You hike from mountain hut to mountain hut, and each one serves a different course of your meal.
Get out. That's brilliant.
Isn't it? And the Verbier Festival in Switzerland. World-class music, but in the mountains.
Yeah.
Very specific, very cool runs to hit the Alps when the snow's melted.
Okay, another activity that jumped out at me was orienteering.
Ah, yes.
I've seen bits of it, maybe on shows like Race Across the World, using just a map and compass, find checkpoints.
That's the one.
The source says it's getting really popular. UK, Australia, New Zealand.
It is. And its roots are fascinating. It comes from the Nordic countries. Their right to roam policies allowing access to land.
Right.
But it's becoming way more accessible everywhere. You don't have to be some elite athlete. There are public events, festivals in places like Portugal, even trips in Turkey.
So it's turning this niche skill into a reason to travel the world.
Pretty much. And think about the appeal, right?
Yeah.
In our super digital world, using GPS for everything.
Yeah.
There's something really satisfying about going analog. Just you, a map, your brain. It's adventure, exercise, and you learn real navigation.
I can see that.
The source even says there were over 1,000 permanent routes just in the UK you can try anytime.
Wow, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Right, let's dive headfirst into food. The source definitely loves food.
Always a good topic.
It spends a lot of time on culinary cultures, starting with Hiroshima, Japan, guided by Tsukagoshi Lagars.
Ah, yes. Japan's regions are so distinct food-wise.
Hmm.
Hiroshima being in southwest Honshu, right on the Seto Inland Sea. That geography really influences it. Think lighter, lots of seafood, different from, say, the heavier stuff in Nagoya or Hokkaido's lamb dishes.
And they get specific. Hiroshima's okonomiyaki, it's layered, right,
Blends,
lighter.
yeah, layered. Not all mixed together like Osaka style. You've got, like, fried egg, yakisoba noodles, cabbage, meat, then topping sauce, mayo, ayanori seaweed flakes, often cooked right in front of you on the teppan grill.
Sounds amazing. And oysters, big deal there.
Huge. It's the top oyster prefecture in Japan. You find them everywhere, especially on Miyajima Island. Raw, grilled, deep fried. That's kakifurai. Delicious.
Okay, making me hungry. What else? Ramen?
Onomichi ramen. It's unique. The broth is chicken bones and small fish simmered with soy sauce. Simple toppings, chashu pork, bamboo shoots, green onions, and these tiny cubes of pork back fat that just melt.
Oh, wow.
Gives it this incredible richness. And the source mentions tachinomi too, standing bars.
Right, for quick drinks.
Yeah, and small plates. Sashimi, nijitoro tuna, more oysters. Quick, casual, very local. Oh, and anago meshi conger eel over rice, cooked in eel bone dashi.
Eel bone dashi. Intense. They even highlighted lemons as a local thing.
Yeah. Apparently they grow really well there, super aromatic, used in things like lemonade, a hot pot dish.
See, this is where it gets fascinating, how the geography, the sea, the climate for lemons shapes the food. It tells the story of the place.
Exactly. And those standing bars, the set lunch spots,
Yeah.
they're not just about eating. They're windows into daily life, how people connect. Like Rajedia Wardana says later in the source, food's an open window into culture.
Love that. Okay, another food hotspot, Girona, Spain.
Ah, Catalonia.
Already famous, obviously, because of the Roca brothers.
Yeah.
Teles de Can Roca. 3 Michelin stars, world's best lists.
Yeah, the Rocas are legendary. But the source is good, shows Girona's scene is broader than just them. It mentions Ferraneria and El Bulli nearby, you look historically, and the whole region, Catalonia, is the 2025 World Region of Gastronomy.
Okay, so it's a certified powerhouse.
Definitely. And you see that range. There's the Roca's new place, Espert Roca, in a wine cellar. Super local dishes, like one using Artemisia herb from the landscape.
Wow.
But then you get the contrast. Traditional cooking in old farmhouses, mazayas, like Restaurant Iberic.
Right, so fine dining versus traditional.
Yeah, and that traditional cooking is key. Often uses coals, preserving old techniques. It's all about the local stuff. Pigs, chickens, vegetables from the farms, seafood from the coast nearby, hyper-local, tied to the land.
And you get that feeling at the markets, too, like Girona's Mercat de Yo.
Totally. The source mentions finding cheese from the Grazia region there and lists other must-tries. Crema Catalana,
Oh, yeah, the dessert.
Palnos prawns, super
Yeah.
famous. That surf and turf dish, Maria Montagna, local sausage, Budafara, and the pastry, Suxo.
It's like you can taste the landscape.
Exactly. The quality of that Grazia cheese, it comes straight from the land, the soil, the traditions. Food is a direct reflection of place. It's powerful.
Okay, let's shift from food landscapes to actual landscapes, where nature is the star. Western Australia, Ningaloo Coast.
Oh, Ningaloo. Incredible place.
The source paints this picture. Dramatic outback meeting turquoise reef.
And the marine life. It's just staggering. Whale sharks, humpbacks, manta rays. And the key thing about Ningaloo, which the source highlights, is it's the world's biggest fringing coral reef.
Meaning
The reef is right there, super close to the shore, makes it one of the best, easiest places to access amazing snorkeling and diving.
Gotcha. And the whale sharks, they're the big draw, right?
Huge draw. Gentle giants, though.
The source had a great detail up to 39 feet long, like a double-decker bus.
Yeah. But they just eat plankton and krill. Harmless. Their season's roughly mid-March to August.
And the tourism is responsible.
That's crucial. The source mentions studies showing minimal impact from the guided tours, often led by marine scientists.
Imagine just floating alongside one peacefully.
Incredible. It really feels like a model for sustainable tourism. Education, minimal impact. Plus, because it's so remote and dry, the stargazing is meant to be phenomenal.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
The environment itself just offers these extra amazing experiences.
And the place to stay they mentioned, Salis Camp, sounds ideal for that.
Doesn't it? Off-grid safari tents,
Yeah.
hidden in the dunes, rainwater showers, solar power, no Wi-Fi, no phone signal, communal meals.
Forces you to disconnect.
Totally. Forces you to just be there with nature.
Yeah.
And they offer guided hikes in nearby gorgeous Bantu Mandu, Yordi Creek, plus kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding.
So the camp isn't just a bed, it's part of the whole immersion.
Precisely. The accommodation makes nature the absolute focus.
Right.
Different ways to explore, too. Hike, kayak, SUP. See it all.
Okay, bringing it back to the UK. A very different kind of nature connection. Family wilderness skills. Scottish Highlands. Glendy Estate.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's about connecting through, like learning practical skills. Bushcraft. Their Discovery and Adventure Center teaches campfire building, wood carving, even axe throwing.
Farms throwing, okay.
And there's an interactive trail, too, making exploring fun for kids.
And the downtime stuff sounded unique. Sauna, then ice baths, wild swimming.
And a BYOB pub. It's all very deliberately low-tech, high-nature connection.
Creating space away from screens.
Exactly. A conscious choice. The source mentions a few other UK nature escapes, too, showing this is a bit of a trend, people wanting these wilder, skill-based or off-grid experiences.
Makes sense. Right. Let's look at cities, ones that have changed. Dortmund, Germany.
Yeah, Dortmund. Fascinating transformation.
From industrial rust belt to cultural hub, the source says.
And what's striking is how they've used that industrial past, not hidden it. Old sites repurposed.
Like?
The U-Tower used to be a brewery. Now it's a cultural center with a museum. The old Hansa coking plant preserved, you can tour it. And there's even a fine dining restaurant in the old Deepries building.
Wow, okay. So weaving history into the future.
Exactly. Very smart.
And the local culture reflects that history, too.
Currywurst. Oh, yeah, big time. Cult following for currywurst there. Places like Wurst Willie, staple food in industrial areas. Yeah. And it's beer history, Dortmund Brewery Museum.
Right.
Those things, the food, the industry, are tied into the city's identity. And, of course, football.
Can't forget football in Dortmund.
Nope. Borussia Dortmund, the stadium, the German Football Museum. It's a huge part of modern Dortmund for visitors, too.
Okay. Another UK spot, Henley-on-Thames.
Hey.
Famous for the regatta, obviously. Huge event, 300,000 people.
Massive. But the source shows there's more to it than just that week in summer.
Yeah.
It's got this layered history, medieval port town, then a posh resort, and now the source positions it as a real culinary hotspot.
Interesting. So old and new.
Totally. You see the history of the buildings, Tudor, Georgian. Places like the Relly Henley used to be a coaching inn, hosted Charles I.
No way.
Yeah. But then you've got modern gastropubs, cool cafes with cookery classes, tradition and contemporary life, especially around food.
And you can explore nearby, too. Manor houses, woods.
Right. Gray's Court, Crosley Park Woods, or even, make gin at the local distillery.
Yeah.
It's a good example of a place leveraging its history and big event, but offering plenty more food, local businesses, nature nearby, layers.
Okay, heading towards the coast now. Albania, the Albanian Riviera.
Yeah, that piece was intriguing.
It mentions the Maldives of Europe comparison.
Which the source quickly says isn't quite right. It's more complex.
Right. More than just beaches. Hilltop villages, olive groves, ancient ruins, and those bunkers.
Yeah, the remnants of the communist past are everywhere. Hundreds of thousands of bunkers, just part of the landscape now. And accessibility from the UK is better, which helps.
So key experiences, exploring Vlori's history, that scenic drive on the SH8 road, Caesar's Pass.
And Niagara National Park, yeah. Stunning views. Plus historical sites like Porto Palermo Fortress. And just grappling with that unique bunker landscape.
It's the layers, isn't it? Ancient Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians. Sites like Butrint show all that history.
Exactly. Deep history, rugged nature, the coast, mountains, springs, and then this very recent, very visible communist past.
Yeah.
Creates a really unique mix. So much to explore.
And the water stuff sounds amazing, too. Finding hidden beaches, Jacipe, Coriza.
Visiting the Blue Eye Spring, that incredibly blue pool that was apparently off limits to ordinary people before.
Crazy.
And unique things like mussel farming tours on Lake Butrint. Plus, just eating great local food with those views, places like Luciano or the Mussel House.
It really packs a punch. History, nature, food, recent past.
Yeah.
All in one stretch of coast.
Yeah, a destination with real depth.
Okay, let's flip specifically to the sleep section, Amalfi Coast.
Ah, the glamour.
Yeah, the source captures that feeling, right? Like you expect Cary Grant to walk past. Old world charm.
Totally. And the places they highlight show the different ways you can tap into that. Classic luxury, Hotel Santa Caterina, dates to 1904, marble, glass lift down to the private beach club.
Very grand. But then there's more artistic stuff.
Yeah, like Maison La Minervetta in Sorrento. Cliff edge, nautical style, lots of art. Or Villa Troville in Positano. Pure cinematic glamour. Used to be Franco Zeffirelli's place. Private beach club. Famous guests.
Wow. But it's not all super high-end.
No, they mentioned Villa San Michele and Ravello.
Yeah.
More of a budget-friendly pension, but still has private swimming access. You can find different levels.
Okay. And La Sierra News in Positano. That sounds famous.
It is. Known for its maximalist style, amazing art collection, history, and they have nightly mandolin players.
That's the Amalfi Coast vibe right there.
Exactly.
It makes you think choosing where to stay there isn't just finding a room, it's choosing the kind of experience you want.
Absolutely. The hotels are characters in the Amalfi story.
So this has been a whirlwind tour through the magazine, but one piece that really stood out was more personal. Louis Hall's horseback journey.
Oh, the Ligurian Alps one.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
Starts with him just wanting adventure, right? Inspired by Don Quixote escaping a city job, buys a horse, Sasha.
But the real insight isn't just the trip itself. It's the bond formed through the struggle. He calls the horse his companion machine. And he talks about how traveling with a horse makes you see beyond the physical, how it opens up connections with people you meet, people drawn to the animal.
And that lesson about responsibility.
Yeah. Being responsible for another creature forces you to, put your own worries aside. And he has that great line, getting lost is the finest way to make new friends.
Love that.
It's such a contrast to, super planned, goal-focused travel. His big takeaway, forget the destination. See only what lay immediately around us. Get lost in the moment.
It's about presence, serendipity, seeing the world differently.
Through the horse's eyes, almost. Yeah, really makes you think.
And just to show the sheer breadth of this one source, the online section bits were fascinatingly random.
Were they just?
Like scientists trying to decipher whale communication, potentially leading to whale rights.
Mind-blowing concept.
Or the story behind the I Heart NY logo after the 77 blackout. Travel mag connecting to urban history.
Right. Or the debate about alien life signs on an exoplanet.
Right.
Based on a biosignature.
From travel to astrobiology.
It shows how digging into any source can just spark curiosity everywhere. Oh, and they mentioned wild camping spots across Europe, too.
Yeah.
Sweden, Romania, Scotland, Latvia. Another totally different way to travel.
So when you pull it all together, rising stars like Vietnam, niche activities like orienteering or alpine cycling, deep dives into food in Hiroshima and Girona, naturescapes in Ningaloo or Scotland, cities reinventing themselves like Dortmund, historical layers in Albania or Henley, unique stays on the Amalfi Coast, and this philosophical horse trick. It's quite a mix.
It's a really rich tapestry, isn't it? All from one magazine's worth of excerpts.
Yeah.
And I think what it tells us, about being well-informed about travel now, it's about appreciating that diversity, looking beyond the obvious headlines, understanding the why behind places, the history, the geography, the culture, finding those unexpected details, those stories, and realizing there are just countless ways to connect with the world.
It definitely makes you think about how you approach travel or even just learning about places.
It does. And maybe that's the final thought for you listening based on all this. Thinking about this range of experiences. What kind of traveler do you feel drawn to be? Are you seeking the emerging hotspot, the really specific niche activity, a deep culinary journey, that quiet connection with nature, or maybe a story of transformation?
Lots to consider.
Yeah. And how can paying attention to the small details, the different perspectives, in any source you come across, a magazine, a book, anything, how can that deepen your understanding, your appreciation of a place, even when you haven't visited yet?
Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.